Hey everybody, this is Wrestling Roundup, the show where I give you all the latest news, rumors, and recap in this week in the WWE. This week's edition of Monday Night Raw kicked off with the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan making his triumphant return after his honeymoon with Brie Bella. However, the Big Red Machine Kane had other plans and destroyed Daniel Bryan, delivering 3 tombstone pile drivers to the champion. The Intercontinental Championship #1 Contenders tournament continued this week with its semi-finals matches on Raw. We saw Bad News Barrett defeat Sheamus in a very physical contest. Well, I'm sure Rob and Jack were toking it up the day before. It was 420, so they probably had this planned. Blunt Brothers gotta stick together! Anyways, we know that it will be Bad News Barrett versus Rob Van Dam next week, where the winner will go on to face Big E for the Intercontinental Championship at Extreme Rules. And I'll just say this, if you're not a fan of Bad News Barrett, then I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Because he's gonna win. He's gonna win. If you thought that the Hornswoggle and El Torito match from last week was a one-time thing, you were wrong, because it is a long, drawn-out feud that is carried over to this week. And it honestly isn't that bad. It's probably the best thing Hornswoggle has done since he debuted under the ring. And it's probably the best thing Los Matadores has done since, well, forever. After losing to the Usos on Raw, the Rhodes Brothers, Cody and Goldust, teased a little bit of dissension. Seems like Cody might turn on his brother sooner than later. I think the best way to describe this week's episode of Smackdown was The Shield owns Smackdown. The Shield ruled Smackdown with an iron fist of justice, destroying nearly the entire heel roster throughout the night. If you hadn't heard, earlier this week, Daniel Bryan's father passed away. Bryan was given the night off, but he insisted on showing up to Raw to progress the storyline with Kane. He's taken the rest of the week off, and we're not sure if we'll see him back before Extreme Rules. Our thoughts, prayers, and condolences go out to Daniel Bryan and his family. It was also officially announced this week that it will be Kane versus Daniel Bryan in an Extreme Rules match for the WWE World Heavyweight Title at Extreme Rules. Maybe they'll hug it out. Probably not. Maybe Dr. Shelby will be the special referee. Probably not. Another match that was announced for Extreme Rules is Alexander Rusev in a 2-on-1 handicap match against R-Truth and Xavier Woods. Well, it'll be a squash match, but at least they're getting these 1-on-2s out of the way quick, because I want to see Rusev do something more than squash. He's good. As Cesaro made his way to the ring earlier this week, you may have noticed he had some new music, as opposed to, well, no music. It's pretty cool. A lot of people think it sounds like jobber music, but I think the Tornado Siren is badass, and it kind of fits for his swing thing. So Adam Rose's party bus is actually a real thing. There were pictures of it outside arenas for Raw the past few weeks. It turns out that the WWE uses it for the WWE crew bus, so basically they're just using a bus that they would anyways, but promoting Adam Rose. It's a good idea. It's a good idea, and it makes people think that he's going to debut each night. I thought he was this week, but he didn't. In other news, Paige favorited one of my tweets. We'll be together in no time. Just watch. Speaking of Paige, last night on NXT, she was stripped of the NXT Women's Title by General Manager JBL. JBL announced that there will be a tournament over the next few weeks to determine the new Women's Champion of NXT. There have been a lot of speculation and different rumors about why the streak ended, who called it to end, yada yada yada, but now apparently it's been confirmed that Vince McMahon was the one to make the call to end The Undertaker's undefeated streak. A few days before the show, Undertaker was going over, but Vince made the call to have him lose. It has been announced that this coming Raw in St. Louis will see the return of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. So we might see Evolution back together completely. This next one is definitely one of my favorite announcements of the week. Triple H announced that there will be another NXT Live special on the WWE Network, like NXT Arrival, titled NXT Takeover. It will be on May 29th on the WWE Network, a 2-hour special. It's rumored that at Extreme Rules, the Usos will defend their titles against Rybaxel, and it looks like that's the plan, as the two have been going back and forth with victories and losses. I would expect it to be announced this week. Apparently another rumored match for Extreme Rules would be Cesaro versus Rob Van Dam versus Swagger in a triple threat match. Rumor has it that Batista might be taking time off after Extreme Rules, which seems odd as he just returned back in January and this whole Evolution storyline just started. Another rumor going around is that WWE might think about turning Bray Wyatt face later this year. I don't see that. Don't do that. Don't do that. No. Another odd rumor going around is that next year at WrestleMania, The Rock might face off against Sting. I don't know about that one. Without spoiling anything that might be happening on the next few weeks of NXT, Bo Dallas might be making his WWE debut at the end of May or the beginning of June. People have been talking about War Games. Are they going to bring it back? Are they going to do it with the Shield and Evolution? Well, we don't know that much. However, a source reports that at the Tampa Bay Times Forum in Tampa, Florida, which is the location of the Battleground pay-per-view, it is the only venue that could hold 2 rings for the War Games match. So if it's going to happen, it'll have to be at Battleground. Well, thank you everybody for watching this week's episode of Wrestling Roundup. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you back next week. I'm GrimmChorizo, thanks for watching, and have a great week.